Septemberk 2. So I'm going to start from the same base that I did yesterday because I feel like that worked really, really well. I want to apologise for one of the things that I said in yesterday's stream, which was I referred to him as having low testosterone because of a weak chin. I was kind of channeling a YouTuber called H Bomber Guy when I did that, because he did this whole experiment into whether you could reduce the amount of testosterone that a person has by having an all soy diet. And what he basically realised is that the whole, phytoestrogen thing is just bunk, which is what everyone expected. But still, he did go on in that about using. He ironically used phrases like beta male cuck and stuff, and lampooning right wingers and whatnot. But that's not really what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is draw pictures of people and insult them as I go. And I realised that maybe I was a bit too insulting in that one, because let's face it, not everybody has a strong chin and not necessarily a strong jawline associated with high levels of testosterone. Yeah, that's just me doing my get out of jail free card. And of course, the reason that it had a weak chin is because I was working from a circle as the head. Now, I don't know if you know this, but generally speaking, when you do a proper head, you would do like an extra little chunk just down there, and then like the halfway point of that would be where the eye is, and the nose would go there and the mouth would go there, and you get this nice strong jawline. Of course, I was not doing that. What I was doing was working from a straight up circle, putting the eyes halfway down, nose there, and then the mouth there, which gives a more cartoony style face. I do want to draw more realistic stuff, but for this week, I'm just trying to work through what I can remember, and I remembered that last night. So today we are going to go for a more formalised face, and we're also going to try and do a more stereotypically female-looking face. Basically, I'm going to try and draw a girl. I don't know if I'll succeed, but let's begin. Starting with a circle. Of course, being able to draw a perfect circle is the first sign of madness, or possibly the pinnacle of all high art. I don't know. Because the easiest thing about this is that if you have a circle and a cross like that, doing head on just gives you bam, that's everything aligned as you need it. So as I understand, this should actually come down like a whole kind of extra part, like an egg, essentially. You may notice I hold the pencil quite high up. That's because when you hold down here, you tend to get a temptation to do lots of little squiggly things, and I don't want to do that. I want to have nice smooth lines when I'm doing. This is like I say, I'm working entirely from memory with these things. So when I've read things that say, oh, you have to draw with your arm, not with your hand, because if you draw entirely with your hand, you end up with wobbly details, and you can't go very far. And I think that's the problem that I had with the eyelashes the other day. Eyebrows, sorry, is that I was trying to push with the fingers, and I should have been using more hand-like strokes. Live and learn. But now that I've done this, I need to space this face out, and I feel like the nose should end there, which, if that's a big nose, so the eyes, I guess, would come here. Clearly formalism's gone out the window because I'm not even spacing these out properly. So that's like the halfway point of the new face, because it's now. So herein lies the problem with working from memory, is I can't remember if those eyes are meant to be centered on that one to give me a huge chin and a small forehead, or whether they should be centered down here to give me a big forehead, and pretty much exactly the same problem that I had before. I think down here is where to focus them. That looks more right to me, is to have the pupils there and there. Therefore the eyes will be kind of here. This now looks like some kind of horrible robot. Okay. Which means that the ears will be coming to this point. line up the bottom of the ear with the bottom of the nose, which is going to be here. We've already decided. You'll notice I've gone for a more triangular nose shape this time. I don't know if that's going to help or even work, but you know what? It's all just grist for the mill of me insulting both the things I draw and the people I draw, and also the... God, it's going to be really bad when I'm doing this with like celebrity faces and stuff, especially even with randos on Twitter, because I'm going to be basically drawing them, saying they look stupid. That's going to be awful. Why would I subject my Twitter followers to that? I don't even know why I would do that. I guess I'm just a terrible person. So, the brow line, once again, will come up here, and like so. So how do you define feminine facial? I don't even know what that even means. Like the temptation is to say, oh, it's all about cheekbones, but that's just a look. I really should have looked at a picture of an actual human being before I started this. Like an actual, real, physical person. I think I figured out who I want to ask on Twitter if I can draw them. There's a specific person that would be amazing to draw. But I'm not going to actually say until I've asked him, because I don't want to pressure him too much. Not that he probably even is watching this. Maybe his fans are. Maybe a random chance, because he's retweeted my jokes so many times, about 4. Someone who follows him will also be following me. So, let's think. Nose. Are my noses too wide? Is that the mistake that I'm making? Are they these great big noses that people kind of associate with fantasy gnomes and things? And actually the nose should be more like this. And that line should kind of end there. Is that a better nose, or is that just a different nose? I honestly can't tell. We're working a little bit faster than we worked yesterday. Mostly because I've already done one, so I've kind of got this started. That's kind of the height of the mouth. Now, I said yesterday about doing lip shapes, and I was talking about the fact that one of the formal methods I read for doing this is if you imagine the lip as being like 3 circles, like so. So you end up with this kind of shape in the lips, and you have this bit as 2 circles here, so that ends up being a kind of... I think that's meant to be like... Yeah, there we go. So that is the shape of lips, and that looks good there. I think maybe it's making them meet here and closing it off. That's what makes it look like a really odd kind of Joker smile, because then you've got this clear outline. Whereas if you were to just... So right, the philtrum would come to there. Yeah, that's right, I said philtrum. I know about face bits. So this would sort of... If we go for a fuller lip there... I do want us to smile a bit. So I guess you would draw... What I'm thinking is if you just do the sort of top and bottom bit of the lip here, like this, and you can have the lip itself come in. It started doing the flashy thing again. I'm going to trust that it's still recording, because it hasn't beeped to tell me it's stopped. So that gives me kind of a lip. I don't know. top lip looks bigger than the bottom lip. Oh no, I'm looking at a picture of myself now. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I shouldn't do that because I'm not trying to draw a self-portrait. I'm trying to draw from my memory of what a human face looks like, which is never a good idea. I'm actually going to start this all over again because I think that that should be higher, and I think that these lips should be arcing to where the mouth goes, so that when they ultimately fail to meet it, you at least have that sense of trajectory. And we have just the slightest semblance of lip there. I don't think we need to do too much on that. So yeah. Now, obviously, anyone of any gender can have any hair type, but I did say stereotypical. This is meant to be a reinterpretation of yesterday's picture, so I am going to have to do some kind of stereotypically feminine hairstyle. Now, my own hair is quite long and has the parting about there. So since that's the face that I look at most often every day in the mirror, I'm going to try and draw that. So, like, you have the actual line of where the hair is, and that will come down to sort of here-ish, I think. So if I was to shave my head, I would look like that-ish. Realising now that the head's not quite symmetrical, but then what is? Happy little trees and so on. So if I do the hair kind of ending there, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, why not? But that's where the hair would go to on the head, but the actual hair would be larger than that. If we have a parting here, which is where I have my parting, then we can sort of... I'm the sort of person that tucks my hair behind one ear. So I'm going to come down and do that. Whereas on this side it goes the same sort of way, but I lift it up. You know, I think that could work. I think that, like, it will have some weight to it, even if it's going up, it will have weight to it. We're going to have a few strands coming down here. That's from the actual sort of side of the head, like so, and probably the same here. Anything that helps me cover the lines of the horrible face that I've drawn is a success in my book. My arm's starting to get tired from holding the top of the clipboard. It's going to come down here. Do I want to cover the ear? I feel like if I cover the ear, I can cover a lot of sins with that. I can cover a lot. Although I feel like one side should be tucked behind the ear and one side should reveal the ear. That way I can get away with drawing an ear and not having to worry about symmetry, which is a real shame because I've parted it on this side and that's the side that's most likely to show the ear. But I feel like this ear looks better, like structurally. So I'm just going to have to suck it up, buttercup. Yeah. So then this will come over here. And this will actually sort of, some of it will go behind, some of it will come in front, but ultimately that is going to cover the ear, and there's going to be some down there as well. I'm not going to worry about necks in this exercise because joining things onto bodies is what I will do in month 3. Oh yeah, I've planned ahead for what I'm going to do for my next few draws as well, next few months, because obviously faces is not where being able to draw ends. So I think this is ready to ink. What a horrifying thought. Now it becomes permanent. So I'm going to start with this ear. That probably seems like a really odd place to start, but it's the bit I'm most nervous about being horrible, so yeah, it's going to be real bad. Because that's the bit I'm most nervous about, that's the bit I want to do first, simply because that way I don't have to worry about it anymore. I feel like there should be a sense of hair coming away from this line. And maybe a sense of hair going like this. Obviously, the hair is something that I need to do in a future thing. I'm just doing a kind of flow at the moment. And this one is going to come across here. But we're also going to have hair that comes down in front from here. Oop. Hit the edge of the paper, folks. That's ultimate fail. And oh man, that looks so bad now. Never mind, we'll style it out. We'll style it out. This is meant to look bad. This is meant to look... Well, it's not meant to look bad, but I just kind of... What is it they say? That the best attitude is to not mind failing? Right, so... we have this part of the eye here, and that's going to turn into the eyebrows. Oh, that's better than yesterday's was, I think. Yeah. Fan of that, liking that. So the eyes themselves, I feel need a... Yeah, that's right, we're going for the slight eye makeup look of having the more feminine eyes here, giving them wings, because that's a key way to let you know that your character is either female or very, very stylish, and frankly either one of those is good in my book. Right then, so I realised that yesterday I made this a huge meal for myself by trying to do the pupils first with the shiny bit, when what I actually should have done is just drawn that first and worked around it, because the way in which I was doing the rest of the eye just covers for it, because I'm obviously going to now fill this in like so, because we're going for the similar style of eyes to the one that I did yesterday. There you go, you see? That's pretty good. Do the corners of the mouth. Right then. This lip. This is the bit I've been dreading for reasons. I'm actually going to do a little bit more of an underlid there as well. I think that will help the appearance. That's a very bad line. That's a very bad line. I actually ordered a whole bunch of expensive art supplies for doing this process, and none of them have turned up yet, which is why the words of Arthur Ashe came to me earlier. Use what you have. Start where you are, do what you can. I got that in the wrong order, but this is what I have, so I'm drawing with Sharpies. And I'm not even going to draw as much of that. I'm going to end that there. It looks wrong, and I'm not entirely sure why it looks wrong. But I don't want to put another line onto the paper, because at this point it's permanent. That eye is way more open than that one. I've just realised that. That's good if you're doing an expression. I wasn't trying to do an expression. This was meant to be so like that looks like a different face to that. They look like different people, which is fine, because you just look at a picture of Harrison Ford. You know, he's different people on either side. Another weak jawline, even though I went for extra head, which is odd. I find it odd anyway. Right. Now these lines is not where I'm going to leave this. These lines for the hair. The plan is to add some kind of lighting effect. I'm not entirely sure how to do this, but I know that if you create a kind of extra dark section, like so, near where the hair parts, and do the same on this side. This does have kind of a messy look to it, but that's okay because I don't know if you've seen my hair. That's what hair looks like sometimes. It looks messy. It just looks the absolute worst. And then we're going to do some more lines here where it tucks in. And you can see that what we're getting is more of a kind of... I don't know where I read to do this. It was in a book somewhere where it was saying that, you know, you create a sort of counter hatching in hair, and you can actually have one or two hairs stray away as well. I want that to go really dark behind the ear. And then this is going to have a sort of few shiny areas in it to give it a sort of 3D-ish feel. Also, the great thing about doing this is that it kind of hides places where I've messed the lines up. So down here where that kind of intersected all wrong, this now just looks like messy hair. Yeah, it does. Other techniques for similar covering of badness include stippling, where you can just add an extra dot. Cross-hatching, which does imply some formalism, but if you do it badly, it just means you got texture. Yeah, you do. Nice, fantastic texture. It looks realistic, don't you know? It's natural. It's only right that you have a little texture here and there. I kind of like now how this eye looks like it's squinting because the hairs droop down into it, which works very well for me. I feel like this should be deeply shaded behind this ear, just because it's in shadow, and then get a little bit lighter as it comes out. Do the same here. And by doing that, I'm now a genius. Yeah. I am. What was that guy's name? Caravaggio? The guy that did the Stark lighting? Yeah. I am Caravaggio of bad line art. When I do formalism week, I'm going to look at mouths a bit more, because that's bad. That's real bad. But I think I'm going to call that a day. I'm tempted to extend this line a little bit here. Maybe curl that in a touch as well. Yep, nope, that over-egged it. That looks terrible now. So, yep, I'm going to call that a day. This is one of those things, if you were drawing it on a computer, you would now flip the image and see that it looks terrible. But because of the way that my eyes were, I just realised that I need to just hide the fact that I messed that up We're doing that. Yeah, genius. Turn a prize in the bag. I know I keep over touching it, but I just want. I feel like it needs to be a little bit more messy, and it also needs one of those. There we go. The little anime hair thing. It's a thing in anime that you would quite often try and give a character an animalistic focus. Sometimes you'll see anime girls, even if they're not cat girls, doing this thing with their mouth, where as they smile, they also bite the middle bit of their lip. Like sort of, it's kind of like this actually, but in reverse. So that, yeah, let's do it with this. So it's a kind of, they'll be smiling, but they'll have a kind of just a little thing in the middle here. And the reason that they'll have that is because they are meant to be slightly cat-like in their mannerisms. And the other thing is that if they have a thing coming out the top of their head, if they have a couple of little bits of hair, that usually means that they're meant to be bug-like in their mannerisms, i.e., messy, fast, scurry-like. Yeah. The little bits of knowledge that you pick up from a life wasted. Well, this well and truly looks like stick of the dump now, so I'm going to get rid of my guidelines, take a high-resolution photo of it, and remember, even though it's called Septemberk because the faces are meant to look silly, the only real Burke is me. Because I'm the one who can't draw. And if there's anyone watching, if there's anyone who sees these images and says, well, you said you were a bad artist, and I would give a whole limb to be able to draw like that. I would sign a deal with the devil to be able to do art like you draw. Firstly, thank you, you're very kind. Secondly, I don't think it's beyond the means of a person to get better at what they do. I would like to be able to think that I could get better at things, and you can get better at things, and maybe one day you'll be as terrible as me. And hopefully by then I'll be as terrible as someone else. We're all just different levels of terrible. The more I look at it, the more I hate that I extended that. Damn. See you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we're getting interesting because it goes 3D as we turn to 3/4 views. Nice.